Hey friends, I'm back, and we got some new things coming your way. But first, let's forget New Year's goals and resolutions, okay? Let's talk recovery. How do you plan on recovering successfully in the new year? Like, really taking charge of your life beyond the normal New Year's routine that's just plain stale and outdated. We ain't talking about a new year, new you. We talking new year restore you. How can we heal from what we've been through so we can actually move forward? We got this plus a new intro coming at you in 3, 2, 1. Do you feel completely broken? Are you facing obstacles like depression, anxiety, addiction, divorce, grief, or all of the above? And you're awake at night wondering how you're going to overcome it all? Well, I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the Broken to Blessed podcast. Here you'll gain strength, encouragement, and victory as you learn how to fight your battles the right way, not with your flesh, but with scripture, prayer, and God on your side. Hi there, I'm Randy, a work in progress. My battles have been many, from addiction to depression, and most recently, divorce. I've felt lost and broken and wondered how I was going to survive. But God is bigger than our problems, and if you're walking a dark season, know that there is peace that passes all understanding, even in the midst of our storms. The pain is only temporary. God will not leave you in the valley or let the fire consume you. No matter what you're facing, He will hold you up with His righteous right hand. You, friend, are redeemed. So don't lose heart and don't give up. God's going to make your life crazy good as we go from broken to blessed. Let's do this. Okay, so first, shameless plug. I've got a new YouTube channel and I'd love for you to subscribe. It's just my name, Randy Tisdale. That's RandyTisdall. Just launched a new channel. I hope you guys go over and check it out. I'm just uploading shorts for now. Eventually I'll start adding some podcast episodes on there as well. But for now, just head on over right after you listen to this and click subscribe and check out some of the new videos. All right, moving on. So if you noticed in the intro, I mentioned something different. I mentioned divorce. Yep, I'm going through a divorce, y'all. Hence the hiatus this year. And I really just want to say that I have thought a lot about this. I've prayed a lot about it and how much I would release about my divorce and how much I would keep private. And so God has really showed me that there are aspects of my divorce that I do need to share because I do think that I can help somebody else who is going through something similar. But there are things that, of course, I will keep private, not just for myself and my soon-to-be ex-spouse, but also my children and my family. So I'm just throwing that out there because I know that I was I posted a lot of podcast episodes at the beginning of the year. And then, of course, if you listen to the last couple, I just obviously was not in a good place. And I'm telling you now that that's why. It's been very challenging. I have really struggled this year. And it's probably been the worst year of my life. We can only go up from here. But the good news in this is that God is faithful. He does restore. And that's why I'm here today, is because I really just want to talk about New Year's, new beginnings, but not in your traditional sense. New Year's resolutions, I think, are really stagnant and just unsuccessful. People don't even like to make New Year's resolutions anymore. And of course, I'm not talking about, losing weight or, having fitness goals or anything like that. Not that there's a problem with that. But this podcast, it is about addiction. And I must say, too, that going forward in the new year, there will be a lot on divorce because that's where I'm at. But addiction is still going to be in there because it's still a part of my story. It's still been a part of this year in many ways. And so that's what I'm talking about with new year. The new year is just how to recover. How do we recover when we have really gone through the trenches? We've been beaten down. We have been pushed in the mud over and over. And, if you're walking through just like a really dark season right now, if you are wondering how you're going to get out of it, how you're going to pull yourself out of it, just know that it is possible with the Lord and that He will strengthen you. He will help you and guide you. But that doesn't mean that we don't have to take action on our own. So I'm just going to talk about 3 ways that we can recover in the new year, 3 action steps to take for recovery. And this is whether you are going through a divorce or you are struggling with addiction or depression or anxiety or grief. I mean, whatever the problem is, we all have a story. We all have a struggle that we need to overcome. And so how can we move forward in our recovery so that we can really take on this next year with a purpose, a clear mind, and just moving in a mentally healthier direction, not a physical health. Again, not that that's wrong, but a mentally healthy direction. So the first one is to face your past and reflect. So I know that anyone that struggles with addiction or, you've been through some kind of trauma, it can be very difficult to go back and look at what happened and sort it out. Many times that's why we turn to things like drugs and alcohol, because we don't want to look back at what just happened. We'd rather just forget and move on. And in order to do that, we need to numb it out. It's a very standard addiction behavior, and that's something that moving forward in the new year, if you recognize that in yourself, now is the time to take inventory and understand that you've been trying to numb out the pain. And the only way that we can move forward, is to really look back and try to understand why. Sometimes we'll never understand fully why, but that's when we give it to the Lord. But we need to face what happened. And this, a lot of times, isn't something that we can do on our own. We might need a trusted Christian friend or a counselor. Reflection and taking ownership for things that we have done is very important in growth, in the growth process. Because if we turn around and we start seeing all the things that have happened and we only blame other people for those things, we're really never going to be able to break free from our addictions, our trauma, unless we take some kind of ownership. Now, I do realize that there are situations out there where something really terrible happened to you and it was a sin against you, and I'm not excusing other people's behavior, but what I am saying is that there are parts that we play in our lives, and everyone, is accountable for their own actions. So, if I decide that, X thing happened to me, and so now I'm going to go and do this thing because of that other thing, well, I need to take ownership of that my reaction. If I decided to just drink myself into, a state of numbness and detachment, I need to take ownership of that. If I harmed someone else because of my own pain, yes, I have pain, but I need to take ownership for causing another person pain. There's that saying, I'm sure you've heard it a million times, hurt people hurt people. And while that may be true, that doesn't mean that it gives us a pass. It doesn't mean that we can't stop and say, okay, yes, I am a hurt person, but I did this thing, And now I need to take ownership of that. And the sooner you do that, it's going to be freeing. I'm telling you, the more that you blame other people for your actions, you're just putting yourself in a prison, honestly, that you will never be able to get out of, because you will continue to blame everyone else except yourself. And luckily, the Lord sees your struggle. And once we repent of the things that we have done, the Lord's going to take that, all that hurt and all those things that happened to you, and He's going to use it for good. But you have to repent first. You have to go to Him and say, Lord, I did these things. I'm not proud of it. Please take it and make it good. And He will. But first we have to face our past and reflect on it and take ownership. So the second thing is to join recovery groups. Now, I've kind of talked about recovery groups in the past. They're not for everyone, but I really do highly recommend in the new year that if you're struggling in a certain area, that you find a recovery group for that specific thing. So I'm going to go ahead and be honest here and say that I joined a recovery group for my divorce this year. I did 13 weeks divorce care. If you've never heard of it, I highly recommend that you do it. And it was essentially group therapy. And I cannot tell you enough on how it absolutely helped me. It was such a God thing to put me there. But to be in a group with other people that are going through the same thing and to be able to share the struggle of that, it's irreplaceable. You really, if you're struggling, you need to find other people that are going through the same thing that can help lift you up and not just connect with you and be there like as a shoulder to cry on, essentially, but to help you recognize things in yourself, to help you recognize, again, accountability. And, it's going to help you be able to move forward in a positive direction because you're trying to work on the problem. If we don't try to work on the problem, we're never going to get anywhere. We can pray all day long, and it's great, okay? Praying to the Lord, crying out to Him for everything. The Bible tells us to cast all our cares upon Him. So that's a great thing to do. But we have to put things into action also. And so that means going to a recovery group or going to a church service, reaching out to people, trying to understand why you just walked through this dark time or why you're in the valley. When we do these things, it's going to be scary. But in Isaiah 41:10, it says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." He's going to be with you through it. When you're taking stock of things and when you're going to those recovery groups, He's going to be with you. He's never left you. And Proverbs 15:22 says, "Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed." Many advisors, they succeed. If we fail to plan, we plan to fail. 100% true. We cannot just expect recovery. We are not going to wake up one day and be like, I am all better now. Nope, not going to happen. Sorry. I wish that was true. I wish I could put literally zero effort into recovering and just wake up and be fine. But time does not heal all wounds. Okay, it makes it less painful because you become accustomed to things, but it's not going to heal, okay? Because if you continue, something's not healed when you think about it and you fly off the handle or you want to go drink immediately, okay? You're not healed from that. If it brings, extreme sadness, maybe we haven't worked through it yet. And sometimes that will take time and a revisiting many times before you fully heal, but that's part of the process. So lastly, number 3, and this is honestly the most important one, is build your relationship with the Lord first. Now I realize I put this last, and I'm saying to do it first, But I saved it for this because those other two things are not going to pack as much of a punch unless you are building your relationship with the Lord. Okay, we have to trust in Him. We have to believe that He is going to lead us on the path that we need to go. You know, we can, like I said, we can pray all day. We can revisit our past. We can attend every church service, every recovery meeting. But if we're not doing the work and we're not seeking the Lord in all things, we are going to be right back where we started eventually. It's only going to be a Band-Aid. We need to be seeking the Lord every day, whether that's just talking to Him, reading His Word, actively seeking the Lord in all things. And if we're actively seeking the world's advice, what the world has to offer, we are going to be disappointed, because the world will never be able to bring you the kind of peace that passes all understanding. You can only find that with the Lord. In Matthew 11:28-30 says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." The Lord is your resting place. He is going to bring you the most peace. And one of the things that's great, that I think is just perfect for the new year, is that the Lord is going to do a new thing. He is going to take all of the pain, all of the hurt, all of the trauma, and He is going to do something new. Isn't that exciting? He is going to take your life and He's going to make it new. The more you seek Him, the more He's going to bless you. And in Isaiah 43:19, He says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." He is making a new way. He is making a new path for you, friend. I don't care what you're going through right now. I get it, okay? Like, this year, like I said, has been the worst year of my life. I've had some dark moments, y'all. Dark days, dark weeks, dark months. But the Lord was faithful through it all. He never left me, and He showed up every single day. And He continued to say, trust me, and give it to me. And now I can finally see a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not out of the woods yet, but I can see a light, and I know that, you know, every day that I seek Him, I will find what I need, because He is all that I need. It doesn't matter what I'm going through. The Lord, His grace, He is sufficient. He is enough. And so I hope and pray that if you're struggling right now with whatever it is, that you seek the Lord in all things, and that you know that this is only temporary. You will get through this, and you just got to put one foot in front of the other, and every day get up and say, all right, God, what are we going to do today? Please lead me. And He will. He absolutely will. So I hope this has blessed you today, and I will be back. Thank you for tuning in to another episode, and thank you for anyone that has listened to all the previous episodes. I really do appreciate you. I appreciate anyone that's been patient and waiting for me to come out with another episode. I just thank you for listening to Broken and Blessed. Be sure to subscribe to me on YouTube. Don't forget, at Randy Tisdale. And for more help, be sure to head over to brokenandblessed.com. Have a blessed day, and I'll catch you next time.